The passing over of morality. Those who do not learn from the mistakes of the past are doomed to repeat those mistakes. Knowledge is an accumulation of thought that we must not forsake. When bearing in mind the atrocities of the past, ill thought that clasped no wisdom, only ignorant, belligerent hate. All the happenings that have squandered human dignity to date, we begin to question what makes us human and what are our traits. I say that to say this. In unquestionably difficult and harrowing times, even the sweetest things can shine sometimes. When people in persecution and atrocity bind. In the Nazi epoch, Jews were first made to wear the stars as a sign. Soon they would find it was a crosshair for one of humanity's greatest crimes. They were shipped to the ghettos, not like the ones we see in poverty-stricken places. These were prisons, and planned with precision, with the final solution as the decision. Children, fathers, mothers, uncles, aunts, cousins, grandfathers and grandmothers, all victim to a virile propaganda that had seen them as the other. The first stage of the genocide began to exact a most heinous plan. In the ghettos, the men were permitted to go out and work for their yam. The women locked inside, so as none of them seek to escape the nation's borders. Fools followed and sometimes believed the orders. Without question, blindly, they followed. And what would follow was a moral bankruptcy. Hate was the nation's only currency. The occurrence I want to shed light upon is that amidst the darkness and malign times, love and romance was not gone. Between two youths, love shone. The boy permitted to shine shoes and receive beatings as his birthright, worked tirelessly until the first shine of moonlight for scrapings and morsels of bread and fruit. All the while, derision was received from brutes. There was one confectioner with a flair for what is fair, and gifted him from time to time chocolate with dutiful care. The boy would hurry to the ghetto of where he would share with his childhood sweetheart. In the darkness of the epoch, they were one another's rock. Soon the ghettos are put to a stop, and the trains were filled with those already who had sustained such loss and pain. When the train came into station, they were placed in categories like cattle, with no sense of elation despite promise of a new freedom. If only we could have seen them, or heard them, as they cried and wailed as children were separated from mothers, wives from husbands. The abysmal treatment and false promise brought them to the place where many would perish in death camps to fuel a war of superior thought as its mechanization. Humanity and its moral compass faced degradation, as too did the bodies marked for death. Many would not even be aware of their last breath as they were showered and gassed to death, or worse yet, burned alive. Washing even with soap made from their kin that had died. Let us return to the tale of the two children that were now inside the belly of the devil and the final solution. Let us not go into the depths of convolution. This atrocity is one, if not the most heinous of all time. Yet in the dark and sullied and dirty camps there were two children that when they could would sing songs of freedom and love. And by all that is good, if there is a God, then it was heard, as they were cattled as if a herd of animals by beasts most carnal, with an ideology that still lives today and is harmful. These children survived the experiments that were done to the kids, simply for being labelled no good yids. While they watched their friends die in the most painful of manners, eventually they would live together in a manner, but the pain of loss would have them forevermore hammered, despite the beautiful romance and being enamoured. The forces of the Allies rolled in to find something they did not expect, that morality was completely victim to defect. They looked upon the people, the children, with anger and sorrowful frustration that anyone or any nation could permit such a collective evil sin. They lifted from their pockets the food within, passed them the food they had to the malnutrition bodies that were still conscious but void of any hope, despite their chance of freedom finally being bespoke. They ate. They died. Malnutrition had meant the complex digestion required for chocolate was their final push to death. They, with the hope of freedom, realized, and the sweet taste of chocolate faced their last breath. Beneath it all, the survivors wailed some more. even though their freedom was restored, they had been degraded to the core. Many left the shores and sought life in a new land, for the places they had lived had never shown them a wanting hand. Only a volatile and dangerous branding that had almost meant an entire people being wiped from the earth. Knowledge is not what makes our Knowledge is not what makes our moral worth. Knowledge is what makes us enact acts of justice, fairness, and love for our fellows. For if we could have heard them bellow, for if we had been one of them, for if we had been one of those to condemn, with an absence of moral knowledge and no constitution, the final solution devoided this species of its humanity. Unquestionably, this was profanity. Yet, this story ends with the aged children in my arms telling me to never fear hate and set aside personal qualms, to never fear the face of a monstrous beast, and to seek knowledge with teeth sheathed, to speak loudly about humanity turning a new leaf, to never falter, to never take my own life. Because the world needs those with empathy, for we live in the endless night. Knowledge is a serrated knife, and I will plunge it into the ignorant soul's neck every night, because I have humanity's dignity to indict. This is a testament to the children who died and were experimented upon. It represents the various height of the children. I met 2 of the 7 that survived, and so I wrote this for you to get a glimpse of what I felt when interviewing them for my high school newspaper. Never fear the beast. Go to the monument. Walk among it. Walk on it. And Putin, fuck you.